Hi, this is Scott. Welcome back to another Hollinger Team video blog. The question that we get a lot of times is, well, it starts at the listing sometimes, is we have a mold disclosure, which basically is permission from the seller to a buyer that they can inspect for mold if they think they should or need to. And then sometimes when we have home inspections come in, there will be a statement that there appears to be mold or something like that there. So I thought I'd do a quick little video on mold and talk about mold in general and mold also in homes and various types and ways to try to prevent any kind of mold growth, or at least minimize any kind of mold growth. Mold kind of has become a very negative word, so that to the point where I think, are going to see home inspectors call it fungal growth, because it is a fungus. There's all kinds of those: blue cheese, your mushrooms in your refrigerator, mildew, and then the whole spectrum. As a matter of fact, there are 10,000 different varieties of mold, and so it can cover the whole spectrum from really nasty to stuff that's basically every day. And there's a lot of the molds that grow outdoor are different from the molds that kind of tend to grow indoors. So there's a variety of environments that some thrive in and some don't. And but generally speaking, it can be visually seen, especially in a house. Outside, it's well, it's everywhere. And there's a multiple types of molds. They break down into 5 different types of molds. The first 4 are molds that can grow in a home, and they have different traits. But the first 4 are, generally speaking, can become annoying, can cause maybe some respiratory irritation or things like that, but aren't really things that will make you quite ill. The 5th mold is the one that everybody typically is very cautious or concerned about, and that's what's called typically black mold. And that one is a serious one that needs serious treatment and prevention and removal. And that's the one that typically, if it shows up in a mold inspection, is something that pretty much anybody's going to want to have removed, whether you're selling a house or you discover it in a home that you're living in. And it occurs most often, or almost entirely, in what are called continuously damp environments, where there's always a high level of humidity or water present that will feed that kind of a mold. In some studies that have been done in the past, they found as many as 50% of homes checked had some kind of mold growth in there, without any really being visual or being able to smell it or anything like that. But routine cleaning in a house will prevent a lot of that from getting manifested to the point where it would cause irritations. And it's down to vacuuming. They recommend using vacuums with high HEPA type filters on them, so that they can filter out that kind of fungus. And also just good washing with detergents and things like that on surfaces that do get wet, showers, bathtubs, and that kind of area. Mold to be kept in check, or actually how mold thrives, is it lives in a warm environment, or a temperature between 40 degrees and 100 degrees, so a pretty broad temperature range. The other thing is that it needs some kind of a food, some kind of a nutrient, and it's hard to believe that the nutrients can vary so much as just to be carpet, which you wouldn't consider to be a nutrient, but even drywall, which is basically just rock and paper. And outside, when you see lichen growing on a rock, that's a type of a fungus growing there too. So it'll even grow on a rock. That's food. And then the last thing it needs absolutely is moisture. So if you can control moisture's the main thing, because all the rest of the food is a easily readily available source, and temperature is in such a wide range that it would be very uncomfortable to try to control that range in any kind of a living area. So mainly it comes down to a moisture thing, crawl spaces and basements, good ventilation, maybe dehumidifiers, that kind of thing, and that will help control that in a living space, along with, as I mentioned earlier, just kind of generally good house cleaning habits. Hopefully this was helpful, and there's a lot of great information out there on the internet if you want to do some research on that further. Thank you for viewing another Hollinger Team video blog. We enjoy all the questions and discussion that come from these. Our outro for this video is, I'm recording the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, so I included a little clip from Arlington Cemetery. If you've never been there, I would say put it on your list of things to do. It's a very spiritual and humbling experience, and gives you, or at least gave me, some real gratitude for the people that have served our country, and it's humbling also. Anyhow, thanks for viewing.
Ready, aim,